Hi, friends. It's Adam, the crippled cowboy. It's MS Awareness Month. Did you know that? I'm sure not many people do, but spread it around. If you like my senseless rambling and whatever, subscribe to the channel. You'll probably see more. For MS Awareness Month, this is my first video for you all. I figured I'd just share my story. Um, when I had found out and how I found out. So before I start the story, I just want to let you know when this started, I didn't really know what MS was. I'd heard of it, I certainly know now. Um, and there's like a sequence of events that does happen. There are people that have MS that are light, and there are people that have MS that are heavy. They both suck, man. Either or. MS is kind of one of those things you just hope you're never diagnosed. I mean, you never want to get diagnosed with anything, but MS just happens to be one of those big question marks. They could find relief for it, but there's nothing really that fixes it yet. I can't wait for the day that we get rid of it. Um, Now they could find out through an MRI, of which I've had several. I've actually lost count. I've had so many MRIs, and a spinal tap, which is, I found it completely painless the day it happened, but then it was the worst pain I ever experienced in my life. Worst headache I ever had for like a week. It was like a week, like 7 days or so. But they stick a needle in your spinal cord, and I was laying on my side, and they put this little thing and that drips, and took like, I think it took like 20-25 minutes to fill up the vial with spinal fluid. But your body having to replace that spinal fluid and plug the hole that was made, I guess, is rough on your body. So you're out of commission for like a week. So if you know anyone that's had a spinal tap or is having a spinal tap, help them out for like a week. I really didn't have any help. I had aspirin, which didn't help. Poor little Diggy, he was by my side, but I made it. I'm here now. So those, I believe, are the only two ways that they can possibly find out. So you can assume all you want, or people or a doctor can assume, but I seriously think those are the only two ways that they can actually spot multiple sclerosis. How I found out what was wrong with me, it was strange. I knew something was wrong. I was having vision problems and running problems. I just wanted to ask a question. I had a Husky insurance, but I didn't even know where to start. Like, I knew it was a game, and oh, it's a big game. You got to learn it. Um, I just wanted to ask some questions to a doctor. I was on my way to work, stopped by his clinic just to ask these nurses a couple questions. Walked inside, I asked them, and I can't really remember the ordeal too much, but I remember the nurse was like, "You feel what? What? Where?" Next thing I know, I was in the back room. I had all this shit hooked up to me. She she was taking blood or whatever. A couple minutes later, doctor comes in. He's like, we have a problem, blah, blah, blah. I'm on my way to work. I'm supposed to go teach martial arts. He says, you got to forget about teaching, whatever. You got to go to the hospital right now. I just called them. They're ready for you. So I say, fine. I go to Milford Hospital. And they took me right in. Like, I don't even think I saw the weight room. Um, and that's where the ordeal kind of began for me in the ER. Obviously, they can't figure anything out either, so they took every test possible. They knew something was wrong with me. Something on my CAT scan showed there was something wrong with me. Whatever, but all the tests came back perfect. All the blood, like, they hooked me up to everything. They tested everything. But I remember there was one CAT scan person that was acting a little funny. I could tell they saw something, but they didn't know what the hell they saw. I don't know what a CAT scan even looks like, but I get called by a doctor, whatever. He sends me for the MRIs. I get the MRIs. You know, he calls me up and tells me, well, he left me a message that he thinks he spotted something. He's going to call the next morning. No, you know, I'm aware. This is after the test he sent me to. I was supposed to go back and see him. I decided to go home as I was so out of commission. I avoided his phone calls. Two of them actually called twice, and I just let it ring because I knew he had news that I didn't want to hear. The very next day, I just ignored my phone, and the following day is when I answered it. And he had told me yes, he had found something, and you know he did mention MS, but he wasn't qualified. So I started looking it up. Gave me another doctor appointment, whatever. So I go see this other doctor. They want their own MRI. So I gotta go get another one. And a spinal tap on this one. So it was like a wing bang boom. I got 3 MRIs and 1 spinal tap in a couple of days, 2 days apart. No, 1 day apart. I don't even remember, man. It's like a big blur. But after I had my spinal tap, you know, that's when I was called back into the doctors, and that's when she had told me, it was an actual neurologist, went through my MRI space by space. It has a weird look on your MRI. It's like this light gray patch. Um, I had a few of them, and like hands, like they look like fingers sticking. If you ever seen a picture of your brain, in the very center, there's like a hollow part. This is how it works on me. In that part, it was like these little shapes of hands reaching out of it, and that's when she was like, that's like a telltale sign of multiple sclerosis. So that's how it began. You have to be open to doing something about it. You know, treatments. There's quite a few now. Back in the day, then they didn't have any treatments, and now there's several you could pick from. I've had several to pick from. So it's kind of like a game. You got to figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you, because some of the medications are don't work very well for some people, and some work miraculously for some people. So you have to. It's almost like you have to test drive stuff. That's what I'm getting anyway. I don't know. You can say whatever you want, but I've taken quite a few test drives, and I haven't found the vehicle I like yet. Hopefully, I will one day. But that's just my story. So, when it comes to being diagnosed with MS, or you know someone that's diagnosed with MS, I just kind of want to put it out there that the medical system really is a mess, man. And you got when you jump in, you gotta pay attention. Now, it's hard for me. I ain't gonna lie. I mess up all the time. You learn things as you go, and one thing that I learned is no matter what doctor I'm talking to, I have to let them know that, hey, I forget everything in the appointment you're giving me. I'm going to forget it, period. So please remind me. They can remind you with text messages, they can remind you with emails, and I've even got a phone call here or there. So at least let them know that you're going to be having trouble, or you're having trouble remembering it. But that's just my story and how it started. You know, what's happened since then, I'll save that for another video. So thank you for watching this video. Good night.